Good afternoon, everybody. As you might be knowing, NASSCOM, being the Association of IT/ITES organizations, it's a part of our role that we work with the state governments and to make sure that that particular state attracts IT and ITS depending upon the vision of the state that we align with. I remember in 2008, NASSCOM was doing a study for the locations where as the investment destinations. We were doing this study with A.T. Kearney, and I had come here in 2008. And at that time, in my interaction with the senior bureaucrats, with the political leaders, with other stakeholders, I got a sense, and that was very clear, and I appreciate. At that point, the vision was very clear that we don't want to mess up with the branding of Goa. Goa is a tourist destination, and we don't want to get into any of these BPO destination or IT destination or things like that. We want to focus on tourism. Several years down the line, we have reached a stage where we are seeing that there is a huge potential in this particular sector as far as the technology is concerned. IT is not restricted just to services organization, and there is a whole new gamut of BPM, we call it, big data analytics, and the entire foray of data centers that have come up, animation, gaming, visual effects, startups, and mobile applications, and multiple such things, which requires a decent infrastructure, great policy support, and that required talent. So the time has come when Goa is re-looking at the entire opportunity from a different point of view. As all of us know, IT has given the edge of being an environment-friendly industry, and that itself is a major thrust for Goa to look at as a sector. I recall the earlier days when India was struggling to position itself in the world arena. All our companies would go to the customers, and there were 5 slides which talk about, though India is a snake charmer country, but we also have professionals. Though India has this, but we have that. So we were on a very defensive kind of a mode. For other states, and as I told you, as NASSCOM, it's a part of our role to work with all the states. In other states still, there are these issues that, look, we are a great destination, we have a good ecosystem, and they keep justifying first for people to at least come to that particular location. Once they come to that location, then they think of doing business in that location. So those first 5 slides, Goa is blessed that they have not to even discuss those first 5 slides. As we would experience that we receive multiple invites from different states. There are a lot of senior people sitting here. And when we receive an invite from a state, we decide that should we go, should we not go, I don't know, I have some commitment socially, personally, blah, blah. And we give a response based on the invite, the state, and things like that. But my personal experience, we have a great delegation from gaming sector that is here in Goa today, yesterday and today. And when we wrote to them that there is an event like this, and also we had other agenda on the card that we were looking for a destination for our national event, which is almost, I should call it as international, because we have a lot of international speakers coming and addressing us, and there is a huge excitement. But when I told them that we are going to Goa for this particular activity, many of them in a reflex got confirmed. They all said, yes, if it's Goa, we are there. So that means those first slides, 5 slides of attracting people to come to a location is taken care of. The rest I think we all will go through the policy, the draft policy that was unveiled, and Honorable CM, the way he mentioned about the key features of the policy sounded very interesting, very attractive. And some points are really very unique. Again, based on experience, a good policy is the first step. If we consider a good policy as the last step, that now that I have a great policy, investment will come, I think that is a myth. We'll have to really work on that. And that is where I'm sure, with the kind of commitment that we saw this morning, and while dealing with the bureaucracy of the state, we realize that there is a genuine interest in talking to industry. A step before, in identifying the industry. Because when we have a limited talent pool available currently, it becomes very difficult for a large organization to just come in, invest in the large facility and recruit people in numbers. And therefore, to select the right kind of companies and to work with them to identify the niche and to decide whether the human resource is available, we have to map those kind of stuff. And once we do that, I think there is a great partnership that one can evolve, and I'm very confident about it. Because people who are dealing with this particular vertical are very conscious about certain things. They are very open and transparent about certain things. And I think that is what is the aspect that we are looking at. I have with me actually three eminent people. One has just walked out and maybe he will join us. Mr. Ashank Desai, the former chairman of NASSCOM and the founder of Mastech. He is from Goa, so he has an inside-out view and also an outside-in view. And I had requested him to join us on the stage, but I think he had to step out, so he'll come back. I have Mr. Ashish Kulkarni. Ashish Kulkarni is, and now this new age, I mean, in the new age industry, there are people like Ashish and Rajesh Rao from Dhruva Interactive, a gaming company, a game company out of India. When India was taking baby steps in these verticals, Rajesh and his company were the ones who were the founding members of this industry. So both Ashish, who looks after the animation vertical to be very specifically said, and then multiple other things, an evangelist of creative arts, digital arts, and chairman of entertainment committee at FICCI, and Mr. Rajesh Rao. May I request both Ashish and Rajesh to please come on the stage. Now, this is one sector, entertainment sector, where Goa has a natural, one is affinity, but the other is the ecosystem, which is just ready. And today, whatever that we are talking about are all falling into. So when we said AVGC, and AVGC is like animation, visual effects, gaming, and comics, but they all fall into the digital content creation. And what are the opportunities for this vertical digital content creation? What are the expectations from a young company? And these people are mentors for the entire sector, entire vertical. They are the ones who are guiding the young budding game developer or an animator to decide about the course of their action and future. So I think let's try and hear from them. Let's take this opportunity of hearing from them as to what do they see as a potential as far as India and particularly Goa is concerned. And what are those specific things that, if suppose Rajesh has to establish a studio, and studio may sound a little different to many of us because we are not accustomed to these terminology in the entertainment world. But if you translate that into a corporate IT world, then we may say that they are the producers of software in entertainment or for entertainment. Now, For them, what are these basic essentials? I would request Rajesh to come in first, and then Ashish, and I would also request Ashish, if it is possible, if you can show us some work that you have done in the space of animation, particularly for us to recognize the quality of work that is happening in India, which is being used by Hollywood and the entire West, and the potential that this creative industry has for all of us. Over to you, Rajesh.
Hello everybody, I'm Rajesh Rao, I'm the CEO of Dhruva Interactive. We are India's oldest games company, we're based in Bangalore. So we've just completed 18 years in business, and I'm also the chairperson of the NASSCOM Gaming Forum, which is a platform that is like the voice of the games industry in India. The gaming landscape in India is one which is about to take off in a very big way. We have about 200 gaming companies now, which is quite a change from just about 5 years back, when in 2010, around the same time, we must have had just about 25 gaming companies. Gaming is a form of entertainment that is relatively new to India, because India never had gaming consoles like the PlayStation and the Xbox, to be as ubiquitous as it is in the homes in the West, where every home literally has a PlayStation or an Xbox, whereas in India we've never had that. But I think because now we have the mobile revolution, specifically the smartphones, everybody is now experiencing gaming, and gaming is beginning to take off in a very big way. And what that means to to creative industry, to the creative people, is that there is an opportunity to kind of grow and develop in an entirely new entertainment segment that has hitherto not been in existence as a major force. When we talk of entertainment in India, we just talk about movies, television, music, but we don't talk about games. However, you may be surprised to know that in the United States, gaming industry is bigger than Hollywood in revenues. Would you have known that? The gaming industry in the United States is bigger than Hollywood. It makes more money than movies. And in many countries, the growth of the gaming industry, if you look at the entertainment industry worldwide, gaming as a segment has a faster rate of growth than all the other industries. In India, gaming is growing at a compounded aggregate growth rate of about 37%, which is faster than any other industry. Of course, we're starting off on a very small base. But I think there's huge potential, because we have now got about 200 million smartphones, and gaming is the third or the fourth most done activity. And there is, gaming is now happening at a very, very broad, at an age group level. It is not just limited to teenagers or kids. We are seeing people across age groups who are playing games. Today it's a phenomena that I'm sure many of you will relate to. Even our elders in the family are being gifted smartphones to be in touch with the rest of the family on Facebook, WhatsApp. But you notice after a month or two, many of them are playing games. They are playing Candy Crush Saga, they are playing whatever they can download, because these are easy to learn, they are fun, they are better time pass than watching television serials for many of them. I mean, I gifted a phone to my mom and she plays games now, and it's true in, this is a phenomena we are seeing everywhere. So I think this form of entertainment is just being discovered by the mass market in India, and there's a huge potential for growth. To give you an idea, we are just a few years behind China. China had a similar situation. There was no gaming there, a few years back, but now it is rampant and it is there. It has gone from literally nothing to about $10 billion in terms of size of the industry, and it is going to be the same story here. So what this means to a lot of the creative people in India is that there is this huge new segment which is full of potential, and there is a great opportunity for people to be the first movers and to be the early players. And now we have, as I told, from 25 companies, we've come to 200 companies in just 5 years. A lot of them are very, very young companies, and they are companies that need capital, they need experience, they need incubation, they need support. And whoever is offering that, these people will gravitate towards that. So I think there is a great opportunity for states to take leadership here, to provide the kind of atmosphere to attract these companies. And one critical thing to note is that these are industries that may not necessarily employ thousands of people, but they will generate revenues that is disproportionate to their size. You will have a 20-man company that could be generating. There is a company in Finland, it's called Rovio. They have made a game which I'm sure many of you would know. It's called Angry Birds. How many of you know Angry Birds here? You see? A lot of people. Now, if I tell you that this company was a 45% company when they made Angry Birds, and that game is making $1 billion in revenue a year. 1 billion, which is 6,000 crores. 45 people company. So, you are not going to support gaming, or for that matter animation, because it is going to be a bulk employer. You will support it because if these intellectual property, if these forms of entertainment, if this one game takes off, you're talking about revenues in the hundreds or the thousands of crores as potential. And that can reside in your state if you support it. So there is a great opportunity here for Goa to be that hub. Because like Rajiv rightly said, world over, Goa evokes a certain brand recall, which I think Goa can leverage. Like he rightly said, when we floated the idea that we might want to shift our gaming conference to, look at the possibility of doing that in Goa, many of the people in the council, in the gaming council, responded very enthusiastically and said, yes, let's go to Goa. And let's see whether there are venues for us to move. Because we know that internationally, among the international gaming community, you say we are moving the conference to Goa, there will be a lot of favorable view about it, because everybody knows Goa. And I think there is an opportunity for Goa to become a hub for creative industries, because there is a natural draw for talent to come to a place like Goa. You will see the same in places like Los Angeles, and if you go to Long Beach, there are many creative industries there. You can see Barcelona in Spain, many creative industries. There are these places which attract people, and Goa can be that. And it can become a home for intellectual property, which is very different from just being a bulk employer. So I'd say that this is an industry that has a vast potential. It's nascent, and it's going to become a very, very big industry, and there is an opportunity for Goa to kind of be a player in this space. That's my initial remarks.
I think this is where the world is looking at such opportunities, and Goa definitely has a beautiful backdrop where we can attract these creative minds to engage, and the kind of atmosphere, the kind of branding that Goa is enjoying as a tourist destination. And I think this is where the logical movement or logical shift is happening, that we have a strong brand as a tourist destination, and now we are moving into a sector which is also appealing to knowledge workers. It is also appealing to the intellectual potential of people. And how I look at personally the opportunity that Goa has with the kind of limitations in terms of, as Sir was mentioning, the land is in scarcity. Human resource today is having a limited number as compared to other states, and therefore competing on a BPO kind of a sector and getting some large BPOs or large IT companies to come here and establish, I think it's a very long shot kind of thing. But can we look at R&D centers to come? Can we look at data analytics to come here? Can we look at data centers to establish here? And we will have to check whether the ocean is creating any problem as far as those rusting of servers and other infrastructure is concerned. But I think if Mumbai can host data centers, which is also close to sea, why not Goa? So that was one logical thing. But I think R&D centers, training centers, data analytics, and server farms, these are some of the industries that has a natural affinity to a place like Goa. So, with that, when I look at the support that the Goa government is willing to provide, I think the way now there is a shift in thinking in terms of attracting investments, and there was a discussion of how can we really reach out to the right kind of people. It's very easy, and I have been saying this and I have been seeing this in multiple states when you travel, and it leads me to a joke actually, but which is so true, that when it comes to an event like this, government is all gung-ho about offering support and offering everything. But once you come into the state, then suddenly you start struggling with the processes and the, in getting the permissions and things like that. So that reminds me a joke always, that on a Sunday morning, a husband was reading a newspaper and wife was getting ready. So while getting ready, wife asked a question to husband that, आप मुझे प्यार नहीं करते? हस्बैंड ने कहा नहीं करता हूं, बिना अपना सर उठा के देखने पेपर पढ़ रहे हैं, और वाइफ को कहते हैं कि नहीं बिल्कुल करता हूं. आप प्यार करते हैं पर आप मेरी परवाह तो नहीं करते, वाइफ सेड. हस्बैंड विदाउट लिफ्टिंग हिज हेड फ्रॉम द पेपर ही सेड, प्यार करने वाले किसी की परवाह नहीं करते. Now, if that is the case, then the point is that in a situation like this, when we say that नहीं हम इंडस्ट्री से प्यार तो करते हैं, आप आइए आपकी परवाह नहीं करेंगे, because प्यार करने वाले किसी की परवाह नहीं करते. But I don't think that is what you get a feeling when you come here, when you meet with Honorable CM, other dignitaries and the bureaucracy here, that here the government of Goa आपसे प्यार भी करेगी और आपकी परवाह भी करेगी. So when you get that kind of a feeling, I think industries, particularly new age industries, would want to explore these kind of opportunities. Ashish, in fact, had a bigger dream. He has a dream for India, and he wants to realize that dream for India in Goa. And what are some of his plans? I think let's hear from him.
Very good afternoon to all of you. I think in the last 2 days, you must have listened to a lot of people, a lot of plans, a lot of policy makers have come and spoken. What we always thought is, how do you really define the policy for any state, or how do you really define what should be done, what should not be done? And normally when the policy is made, invariably the industry is called, industry goes, talks to the bureaucrats, then they collect policies which are done by some of the other states, and then we try to compare and then say कि ये इसमें से ये उठा लो, इसमें से ये उठा लो, इसमें से ये उठा लो, और let's look at doing this policy. Many a times industry gives very path-breaking suggestions, but they say यार ये और कोई state ने किया है क्या? अरे नहीं किया है तो नहीं डालते हैं, नहीं डालना चाहिए. So what happens is that India has a very peculiar problem. And I'm not saying and I'm not complaining, but I think there is a time for course correction. And many policy makers in the past who actually have looked into these issues also have done that. What has happened good in the past, take certain things that have happened from those and let's forget about the rest of the things. But not necessarily all those good things that happened for certain people in certain states would work in your state to take your state forward. So the introspection has to be done and the course correction has to be done in a very, very different ways. I would say that when India got independence, India wanted to become an industrial nation, and that's why we have put English, maths, botany, zoology, physics, chemistry, biology, history, geography, civics, economics as top 10 subjects. We forgot to put art, creativity, and performing arts and sports into the top 10 subjects. And that's what made us a Me Too category citizen today, Me Too category individuals today. There's a race to become an engineer, there's a race to become a doctor, there's a race to become a chartered accountant and a lawyer. The fact is that I would say we need to be a little more innovative. And when I say this, I would like to give you a couple of examples. When somebody on some television channel makes Saas Bahu and it has made a success, it's got them the TRP, every channel would like to do a Saas Bahu at the same time. If somebody has done Sansani, it has worked, everybody at that point in time would like to do the same thing, calling it little different. It's a me too mechanism. It's a producer's mind. It's not a creator's mind. The thing is that the policy makers of the states have to be innovative. And if the policy makers in other states like Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra and many others have decided to do IT first, have decided to do entertainment first, have decided to do biotechnology first, you have lost the plot. The laws of branding and the laws of marketing says that the first in the mind would always be the topmost brand. The brand doesn't resides in a packaging or a name or on the shelf. The brand resides in the minds of people. The first recall of anything is a great brand. Now what happens is the best brand that we have in Goa is relaxation, holiday, let's come and enjoy. Let's do the conference after the same time, let me take my family along if the conference is there. Because people would like to attach that holiday and a comfort and the easiness to this brand called Goa. Now, how do you really look at making a policy that would work in this favor, in leveraging our brand, which is now become an international brand? And anybody, I must tell you, 17 years in animation, for the first 5 years we used to tell Disney, Warner Brothers, DreamWorks, Sony, everybody, come to India and work with us. They used to come here and tell us India is not ready. Finally, I got DreamWorks, the first client of mine, then got Sony, subsequently got Disney and Warner Brothers. And I was the first one to work with them in India. Now they work with many others. But to get them for the first time is the most difficult thing. But after having learned what they do and how they do it, we decided to do our own properties. And I would like to show you at some point in time what these properties are. And I started creating one property called Little Krishna because I believed the most known character out of India should be done first. And when I did the survey, which is the most known character out of India, was definitely Krishna because of the ISKCON movement all over the world. The number 2 was Gandhi, but the distance was too, big. Of course, the cricketers came the 3rd, Bollywood came the 4th, but it was a little bit of issue looking at those kind of characters to be built into animation. But when you actually do some of these things and try to look at how do you relate them to come to what you really want to do and bring that identity, then I looked at doing Krishna. We sold Krishna in about 51 countries because the uniqueness of creating animation is that it's beyond boundaries, cultures, caste, people, languages. Bob the Builder is Bob the Builder for the kids all over the world. Popeye is Popeye for the kids all over the world. Tom and Jerry is Tom and Jerry for the kids and all the adults all over the world. And so is Krishna now for many of them. And you will be surprised, in 7 countries out of the 51 countries, Krishna has been the number 1 show. And out of those 7 countries, 5 countries are Muslim countries. But the thing is that the kid relate with the character. And you need to understand how some of these things can work in your favor if you leverage the brand properly. Then we looked at what is the next idea. So we started looking at creating which was the best known superhero from India. And that's why when we figured out that Shaktiman was the most known superhero, and that's why I created animation of Shaktiman recently. The third thing is that not many kids in the country are joining defense services today. So now the next thing that we are going to do is to create War Heroes of India with General Bakshi, who comes on Times Now and all. So we have researched about 410 war heroes post-independence, and we are creating an animated show of War Heroes of India. Mary Kom is a unique case study, and that's why we felt that Maricom is somebody whom we should actually take it to the next level. India always had Devis, but India never had a superhero and never had a girl superhero or a woman superhero. Why should we have a gender bias? So we are creating the first ever girl superhero called Maricom Junior from India. She gets the powers when she wears the gloves. So what happens is that how do you position yourself and what do you really want to do is extremely, extremely important. So as a state of Goa, I would say that the creativity thrives when you are at ease. When you are not pushed to the wall, you are able to think in a very different way. When you look at the sea and the mountains and the greenery, you are able to think very creatively and very differently. And I think that's the positioning of Goa that we should use. We have the international first recall of Goa in a very soothing and a nice way. That's the recall that we should really use. And what can we do to use this particular thing in making a policy? I would suggest the first policy that Goa should really make is to have art, creativity, performing arts and sports at par with science, maths, English, whatever. So you should be able to drop chemistry at 7th standard and take dance or photography or anything, and you see how this state changes. The aspect of creativity, the aspect of looking at things differently would change this particular place. At the same time, if people come here, the total population of Goa is very, very small. At any given point, 70 to 80% of the given population of even today probably would be outsiders, would be visitors. So what do we do? How can we change things in a way that they are able to come here again and again? I know many people come here twice or thrice a year. I know many people, like we come at least 4 to 5 times in a year. And you cannot keep going to the same places and looking at the same things again and again. So you need to create something which is very important. And engaging and experiential entertainment is something that we need to really do. What Rajesh was talking about is the gaming. It's an experiential entertainment because it kind of engages you. It's not like a passive watching of a movie or a television show where you're sitting and something is going on and you're trying to relate to that. Here is something that you're doing with what you're trying to observe. And I believe that when we had a Stone Age and a Copper Age, today's age is called Screen Age. Everybody is carrying multiple screens along with them, and everybody is engaging with the screens. And that's why we called our new company Screen Yug also. And to do that, we should have a policy into IT policy. If IT is taken away by somebody else, I think we should talk and we should make an ITES policy more stronger than IT policy. How do we make ITES policy more stronger than IT policy? Is by actually giving an opportunity for the creative IT to give an opportunity to defense IT, to give an opportunity, we have a defense minister from this state, to give an opportunity to many people to have the ability to create IP out of this particular state and have a special incubation center for IP creation, intellectual property creation. So look at a mechanism of patenting, registration and copyright and whatever it requires to really register, protect and exploit that IP to be a part of the policy. And I think that's one of the reasons that I thought that Goa is the right place for all the creative people to come in and to really have a creative policy in place as a part of the IT policy and ITES policy, consuming a larger space for the creativity and the digital content creation would actually make a lot of sense. And that's why I decided we should have an art village in this very state. And we started talking to several politicians and bureaucrats. It requires a huge amount of land. And as you know, that the land is in scarcity. What the land offers here is something that not many states can really offer, the greenery around. And you need to keep it in a natural setting, along with water flowing next to you. It's something which is very, very soothing to every creative person. And that's where India can reposition itself with the help of Goa, repositioning itself to become a creative and entertainment hub of India, which can actually change many things. Now, when I say this, I would like to relate why we are trying to say this in the perspective of ITES, because ITES today expands into the digital content. Every single content that gets created today gets itself transformed in a digital form, which is controlled by the ITES. And the ITES policy, that's why if we have defined in a better way, and we are able to identify what many other states have done, let them succeed there. But if we have to succeed as Goa, we need to use Goa's positioning of the first recall that you get for Goa is entertainment, relaxation, holiday. How do we enhance that particular image? How do we get people to get into experiential entertainment? How do we get them to come here and make their careers in doing that? How do we actually bring those relative universities like the architecture, design, liberal arts, performing arts, programming and management, IP management institutions, the sports university, and many others, to really see that it forms a true ecosystem for people to come here, learn art forms, and create the digital art forms under the policy of ITES within the state of Goa. And I would really like to see that if we can actually understand that Goa as a state would like to relate to repositioning itself and not compete with many other states because it has its own limitations of lesser number of people, lesser number of institutions, then we need to play the game and shift the game in our favor by doing something like this and make it a big success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ashish. Hi with us now. Many of you who are from Goa would know, Ashank, because he's a local boy, I should say. But yes, I think Ashank is a pioneer as far as the IT industry is concerned, one of the co-founders of NASSCOM. And I have learned from him many a times the early days stories as to he was doing himself the cold calling in US despite very low temperatures and snowing and all that. But then to go and visit the client to establish first the India brand and then the Mastech brand that he was carrying, and then build a business from the scratch, and in true sense from the scratch. I think he will be able to relate to now a state who is trying to build a brand as a global destination for technology and creative arts. Maybe your experience and point of view will be very useful. Sir, if you can please address us.
Thanks, Rajiv. Rajiv is good at getting people trapped at last minute, which is what he has been doing very successfully in NASSCOM for last 12 years now? 13. See, I'm 1 year less behind him. So he told me I should speak. So I said, okay, I can't say no to him. Otherwise, he won't allow me to come to NASSCOM again or something like that. So thanks, Rajiv. So I'm a bit confused, to be very quick, in what hat I should speak here. Because first, as he said, I am a Goan. Second, I am involved with Goa very much in many other areas. I'll refer to some of them at a government level. And of course, NASSCOM and Mastech. But let me make some effort to address what I have heard so far, Ashish, and I'm sure Rajiv also elaborated it quite well, is a music to my ear. And why is that? It's simple. There was a committee formed by government to look at next 25 years of Goa, vision for Goa. It was Mr. Mashilkar chaired it, and I was there, Mr. Kakodkar, Anil Kakodkar, and few others were there. Mr. Shetty, who is now Chancellor Vice Goa University. So we created that vision, and the industry part of that was actually written by me. I was charge of industry. Some were looking at government and other things, entertainment and so on. And the concept that we floated there, and that document is part of government's vision, by the way. Some of you know, it was accepted when Mr. Manohar Parrikar became chairman, Chief Minister. He presented it to government, and then it was accepted in assembly. And what we have said there is Goa is a place to meet, think, create. I think let us position Goa as an area of meet, think, create. Because all the parts which are required to make it happen are there here already. You don't have to do any effort in that sense. The basic foundations are there, as Ashish and others said, that we need to create this a different place. You can't compete as an IT destination with Bangalore's and Hyderabad's and Pune and Mumbai and NCRs of this world. It will be difficult. So let's create a separate positioning for the industry, I said, not only IT. I was not wearing IT hat. I was talking about what industries we need here. So we created 4 different industry segments, and IT and knowledge creation is one part of that 4. And then we elaborated what to do. I'm not planning to get into those details here, but what has been said is what we need to do. Government has to meet, think, create place here. Everything else is there already. There is a good infrastructure because of travel industry. Hotels are there. I was told by Chief Secretary just a few minutes back that they are creating a convention center. So all those things are in place. Distance is good. Many other things are good, and people are very, very creative and very well educated here. So that is one thing we should focus on and target on, let's say, gaming industry and few other industries in our IT. So that's point 1. Point 2 I'm making is those who want to come here, I would only like to say that being from here, obviously I am very enthusiastic, but I have seen here some of the industries, IT industry players who have come and done very well. I was talking to Persistence Anand Deshpande, and he is very happy with the kind of output that is there today from the people here. Sorry. Because people have some wrong ideas about Goa. That Goa has a name called Sushagad, you know. Sushagad means people relax here and all that kind of. It was there at some time back, but I think one has to get out of that image, and the actual experience of the people here who have started industry has been very good. So I think government will have to leverage on that, in the sense that government will have to promote Goa. All of us get requirement from all the states all the time. And I was saying this to also Maharashtra just 10-15 days ago when they had called similar meeting, that unless you promote, you can't take us for granted, because industry has to run after, government has to run after industry to talk about good things that we have. And I hope some of these good things that Goa has are promoted by government, so that many people like all of us in the industry will be able to come here. That is second point I would like to make. The third point I am saying is, let's look at it other way. Some people come and tell me that, okay, but there is nobody in Goa right now, no big names are there, so why I should go there? That's what some of my industry people, when I talk them informally, they will say. Goa has already lost the race. My answer to that is very simple. In NASSCOM, we have done a projection for 2020. And I was part of that vision discussions. And we have said that we'll be $200 billion industry, which means we are going to double. 200 billion is only IT, ITES, gaming, all that. There is an e-commerce part which is separate, and another 100 billion. But even if you take IT, ITES part, this is going to be 200 billion. So 100 billion is only that we are. Only I'm saying compared to 200. So IT industry is going to double in next 7-8 years, 6-7 years. So the next expansion that is going to come is still available to you. And that whole another 100 billion industry is getting created. Goa should get part of it, is my appeal to Goa government, wearing my industry hat, that there's so much to do. So many new industries are coming in creative area, particularly with SMAC, as we call it, so, social mobile data analytics and cloud, creating together are creating such a large confluence of industry. We should invite entrepreneurs to this meet, think, create place and allow them to flourish so that they can grow also very fast. So I am very hopeful that Goa will become that place where people will have creative IT rather than just another IT. So let's have a creative IT hub, Goa, rather than just saying IT, ITES, whatever. Let Goa be a creative IT hub for the country, so that all new things happen here. Even if you do that, that will be a big industry. And the last part is, I was telling government that some of us wearing industry hat have to answer questions to our employees why they should shift to Goa. And that government has to work to make Goa still a better place. They ask for school, they'll ask for health. So we need to improve it, move it up, because some of the senior people won't move to Goa, because we can't start industry from fresh here. We have to start with existing people by transferring them, because you don't have senior people here. So some of those things will have to be kept in mind. With these few words, I'm sure Rajiv has must have talked many things. I missed few of them, but I'm sure he would have told some of these things. But I think this is a good event, and I congratulate ELAT for also doing it. He works very hard. My friend Gupta, where is he? He's not seen. So he works very hard. So I wish them a great success, and to the government. And NASSCOM is always there. I'm sure he has told you that. We always see that new locations come. But in this top 50, was Goa there? No, it was not there, because what you said, the focus was not there. So I think Goa should maybe convince NASSCOM to put them in this 50. Okay, thanks.
Much, sir, and just to conclude, so friends, I think it is important to recognize the strength of the state, the strength of political will, the strength of conviction that we want to really go ahead and develop the state for the new age opportunity that we all are getting into. There are these opportunities at national level that are being told or that are being unveiled, be it Make in India, be it smart cities, be it digital India. There are multiple such opportunities which are coming where a state can play a role. So, to conclude, I would say, apni aankhon se na dekh khud ko. And that's where most of the states have this problem. When they come from a state side, when they are looking at it, they are seeing so many negatives that, "Arey yaar, hamare yahan pe ye nahi hai, wo nahi hai." I think you must see it from an outside in view. अपनी आंखों से न देख खुद को, हीरा भी तुझे पत्थर लगेगा. अपनी आंखों से न देख खुद को, हीरा भी तुझे पत्थर लगेगा. लोग तुझे चांद का टुकड़ा कहते होंगे, लोग तुझे चांद का टुकड़ा कहते होंगे, मेरी निगाहों से देख चांद तेरा टुकड़ा लगेगा. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rajiv. For I request panelists to please be on stage for a couple of minutes, maybe. Mr. Rajiv Vaishnav, thank you very much for this a very good panel discussion and a good end with a shairi. So thank you. I have a person here who is also a good shair. So I'll request Dr. Ravi Gupta for a thank you note for esteemed panelists from NASSCOM and esteemed organization, and then present them a memento as a note of thanks, as a memento of thanks. So before you present the memento, I request you to speak a few words.
It's an honor that Ashank sir is on the stage with us. He is founder of Mastech. He is founder of NASSCOM along with other luminaries. And we are really thankful that they have agreed to be here. and talk about the investment opportunities in Goa. We at ILETS have been trying to go around states, create an awareness about the IT opportunities in each of the states and how they can perhaps mix two emerging areas. One is building a IT ecosystem in the state, which is very, very important for any investment to happen. And other is to look at how governments can start creating more opportunities for IT companies through e-governance, which it will benefit the citizens. It will create a startup market. It will create a MSME market. It will also create a SME market. And over on above that, of course, the big ticket investments, which NASSCOM can help bring, can if these two things clubbed together, it will be an ideal opportunity for any state. So, thanking the panelists again for being here, and requesting my colleagues to bring the mementos on the stage.
To start with Mr. Ashank Desai, Chairman of Mastech. A round of applause for our panelists for this. Mr. Rajiv Vaishnav, Vice President NASSCOM. Mr. Rajesh Rao, CEO of Dhruv Interactive. And Mr. Ashish Kulkarni, Chairman, FICCI, Animation, Visual Effects, Gaming and Comics Forum. Request for a group photo, please. And now we'll break for lunch.
Kartik, I have an important announcement to make. We have, sir, एक important announcement है. We have two brilliant singers and shayars on the stage, which I know. One is Rajiv, another is Ashank. And I am requesting them both कि आज evening में जो dinner है, they should grace that, and उनके songs होंगे तो it will be really, it will attract investments in Goa.
कोई आएगा नहीं, आपने अनाउंस किया तो कोई आएगा नहीं.
सभी आएंगे सर आपके होते हुए.
Thank you, and we are also looking forward to have Honorable Railway Minister of India, Mr. Suresh Prabhu, in the evening. So here we break for lunch, and see you all after an hour of lunch. See you all at 2 o'clock, where we'll start the new session, the next session, Building Smart Cities, Ensuring Better Tomorrow.